Three distinct economic philosophies have shaped how societies organize wealth, labor, and markets. Adam Smith's Capitalism, Karl Marx's Socialism, and Islamic economic teachings each offer unique perspectives on justice and prosperity. Today we'll compare their views on private property, labor rights, market regulation, and wealth distribution. Adam Smith upheld private property as a natural right and engine of prosperity, influenced by liberal thinkers like John Locke. Classical capitalism places virtually no fixed limit on private ownership, trusting that individual freedom to accumulate wealth benefits society in the long run. Marx viewed private property, especially in means of production, as the root of economic injustice, enabling capitalist exploitation of workers. He famously declared that history is a story of class struggles caused by ownership of production, calling for abolition of private property. Islam recognizes the right to private property, but with important ethical constraints. Wealth is seen as a blessing from God entrusted to people as a trust. The Quran warns against selfish hoarding, so that wealth may not circulate only between the rich among you. Islam mandates mechanisms like zakat to purify wealth and redistribute portions to the needy, ensuring property rights don't trample social welfare. On private property, Islam aligns more closely with Smith than Marx, affirming individual ownership rights while imposing social duties like charity and prohibiting abuses like usury. Smith championed free labor markets and division of labor, expecting competition to ensure efficient wages, though he acknowledged employers hold more power in disputes. He noted that being fewer and wealthier, employers can collude to suppress wages and withstand work stoppages longer than laborers living hand-to-mouth. Marx put labor at the heart of his justice theory, arguing workers are exploited because they don't receive the full value their labor creates. To Marx, economic justice required overthrowing the wage system through class struggle, unions, and ultimately revolution to give workers collective ownership. Islam places tremendous emphasis on worker fairness and dignity. The Prophet Muhammad said, "Give the worker his wages before his sweat dries." Islamic law forbids exploitation, requiring all economic exchanges, including labor contracts, to be free of coercion with mutual agreement. Employment is viewed as mutual trust under God's watch, not mere commercial transaction. Early Muslim leaders like Caliph Umar established stipends for unemployed and poor. On labor justice, Islam resonates more with Marx's concern for worker well-being than unregulated capitalism, both viewing exploitation as morally unacceptable. Smith envisioned limited state role in economic life, arguing that individuals pursuing self-interest maximize overall welfare as if by an invisible hand. He favored minimal government interference aside from protecting property rights, enforcing contracts, and national defense, trusting markets to self-regulate. Marx advocated the polar opposite, abolishing market-driven economy for planned socialist control, with government taking control of major industries. In his transitional socialist state, the dictatorship of the proletariat would plan production according to societal needs rather than profit. Islam endorses marketplace and entrepreneurship under moral and legal regulations, a free market with ethical guardrails. The Prophet allowed free trade but established clear rules: honesty in trade, fair weights and measures, prohibition of hoarding and price manipulation. Islam differentiates between private and public goods. The Prophet said Muslims have common share in water, pasture, and fire. Vital resources cannot be monopolized. Islam's approach is a middle path, closer to Smith in maintaining markets and private ownership, closer to Marx in expecting active state intervention for fairness. In classical capitalism, wealth distribution is left to market outcomes. Smith believed a rising tide lifts all boats, trusting growth and charity to help the poor. The capitalist view tolerates wealth inequality as natural result of freedom, relying on voluntary charity rather than forced redistribution. Marx placed equitable distribution at his system's heart, seeing capitalist wealth concentration as fundamentally unjust, requiring socialist redistribution. His famous principle, from each according to ability to each according to need, envisioned complete social welfare as a right, not charity. Islam makes social welfare a religious obligation. Zakat, a pillar of religion, requires 2.5% of accumulated wealth annually for 8 categories of needy people. The Quran emphasizes that in the wealth of the rich, the poor have a recognized right. Early Islamic states functioned as welfare states. The Prophet said, "He is not a believer whose stomach is filled while his neighbor goes hungry," making community welfare a collective responsibility. On wealth distribution, Islamic principles align more closely with Marx's ethos of social equity, both insisting no one should be left in destitution. Our analysis reveals that Islamic economic teachings don't fully align with either Smith or Marx, but create a unique synthesis, addressing both efficiency and equity. Islam permits private ownership and markets like Smith, but mandates social justice and wealth redistribution like Marx, creating what scholars call regulated capitalism with a social conscience. This balanced approach offers insights for modern economies seeking to combine market efficiency with social justice, neither abandoning private enterprise nor ignoring the poor. Understanding these three perspectives helps us appreciate different approaches to organizing economic life and achieving both prosperity and justice.